Hello, everybody. I'm super excited again to have Octavia here. How are you doing, Octavia?
Hi, Elisa. I'm doing great. And I'm also very happy, very enthusiastic to be here today to join you.
Yes, so today's going to be a big day. I think it's going to be super exciting for people to be able to see and remember if they're from Atlantis, if they had lives in Atlantis or Mintaka or Taigeta. I'm hoping that these pictures will help them remember and whatever you're saying as well, the codes behind us, all of it, this is packed full of good energy, 5D energy and higher. And I'm just super excited. But before we show everybody the pictures, something also that is really big is your book that you just came out, your first book, your workbook. And I think this is going to be, that I give you most of the credit for creating this perfect life for me, because I followed the guidance that was channeled by you. And that's why I'm retired with financial freedom, having the happiest time of my life and enjoy every day. And so I feel like if people take the time to really work on this workbook, that they can achieve what I have achieved. And so it's really important for me that you show them the book and where you've created, and also you tell them where they can find it.
Thank you very much for your kind words. And I'm very glad to know that this journey brought you where you are today, and that you really enjoy it. And I hope you would enjoy it further as much as you do now. And this is the book. Thank you very much for presenting it, for saying about it. And it's called the Pleiadian Workbook for Ascension. It functions as an initiation into the fourth dimension with a few steps in the fifth dimension. It's going to be followed by another one, which will be an initiation in the fifth dimension. I would say that it's not a good idea to skip steps. So please start with this one, even if the fifth dimension sounds more appealing than the fourth one. But it's very good to make this step, because everything comes at the right time, and it's important to integrate some vibrations that will help one to shift the perception of the fifth dimension. So it's not about really, trying to skip steps there. I would say that the best is to start with this one. And it's not really a book, it's a workbook, which means that it contains exercises. It has light codes like this one, with which you can work with. It has pages where one can write about his or her own experience. It has sacred geometries that were previously activated. And with this occasion, I want to give a huge thanks to my editor, to Sylvia, and you can find her easily when you look at the description of the book as well. And you'll find her Mint of Silver designs. Yeah, if you want to reach out to her, you have a book to publish. She's a great editor. I really recommend her. I want to say that she put more work into this book that I feel that I have actually put. She was the one who arranged it, and she took care that everything would be fine, would look good. So there are exercises that I would encourage the readers to read carefully, and to really not skip them, like to start with the beginning and to take the exercises, to make them in order, and to give enough time in between them. So because there will be always a vibration that you receive and that they receive and integrate. So it's always good to actually give some time to that vibration to be integrated. Some practices are not only fun practices. There are practices in which we learn to be more present, to get into a state of mindfulness, to bring that state of presence in whatever we do. There are also activations that are provided to the light codes, as I said, like this one. Maybe this one is not so well known.
Oh yeah,
It's
no, I
with
haven't seen that
with
one.
the Pleiades playing with the planets.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it would be a very good idea to give it some time. Not to maybe one will be curious and will read it, like the whole material is not a very large book, but then please go back and do all the exercise in order, so you can really allow it to work for you as an initiation process. And yeah, this would be what I wanted to share about the book. And of course, there are other light codes. If you wish to have access to a larger format, if the readers wish to have access to a larger format for the light codes, they can just message you or message me, and then I can send them the ready for print version, and they can have it in their room or wherever they wish to. There are some people who gave me a very nice feedback by printing them on their cup of tea or on their pillowcase or so on. So you can also be creative and use them as you wish to, and have them closer to you in any form that you wish to. Yeah, I think this is another one I found it.
Oh wow.
So I feel that this is mainly what I wanted to share about the book. And once one has done all the exercises, at the end of it, there is a very important activation of the personal mission on Earth. And they say that now one will be ready to open the heart, because all the exercises prepare them to do so, and the vibration of it. And then just before it closes, it has an activation for the personal mission on Earth, which means to remember what was the intention with which we came here, and how to manifest that intention, that mission, and maybe how to connect with the others in our soul family, so we can actually achieve that mission. It's also very playful material. I would say it's really recommended as well for teenagers, maybe even for children if they wish to do it, because it's not such a complicated one. There is an activation of the central sun, of the frequency of the central sun, and the frequency of the blue sphere, which is a Syrian frequency. So one will also have access to these two frequencies. One is a Pleiadian one, and one is a Syrian one. And I really hope that you will enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I am sure they will. Very exciting.
And the cover, if you ask yourself what is there, there is a caterpillar going through a portal, becoming a butterfly.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what that was in the middle.
So that's the caterpillar and the larva, and then it
Ah,
becomes, on the new Earth, it becomes a butterfly.
okay. Very nice.
Yeah, so I hope the readers will be happy with it, and they will have enough patience to go through all the exercises. And maybe if you wish to give me a feedback, that would be really awesome.
Oh, yes.
And as well, if the readers wish to write a review next to the book on Amazon, that would be really great. So now, saying this, I also share that you can easily find it on Amazon, looking for Pleiadian workbook. It will be quite easy to find it. I can also share the link here, but
I'll put it in the description.
You will put
Yeah.
it in the
Yeah, I
description.
can put it in the description of the video. For
Okay.
sure. Okay.
So yeah, any review on Amazon is received with a lot of appreciation. Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. What a great way to help, to help people, and you don't even, it doesn't cost you anything. So absolutely, guys, get out there and help Octavia. Uh, get her book out to as many people as possible. Because what we want to do is obviously raise the vibration of everyone. Because when we do that, we all ascend, right? Faster together. And it's just a way to not only help her, but help humanity as well.
Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, I really wish for everyone to enjoy it. And please expect the next one to be published probably in around 6 months. I think the Pleiadians had 2-3 months, but I would ask for a bit more time. So at least half a year.
All right. All right. Sounds good. So I guess we're ready to move on to the next part of the video, which is the pictures and the images that you have seen in your mind that you've tried to now recreate on ChatGPT. And tell us how you first got the idea, or how did this all come about?
Well, it started many years before, when I've connected for the first time with beings from Taigeta, from Pleiades, from the star system Taigeta. And at that point, whenever I was channeling them, I could see the images, and not only the images, it was like I would see, 360 degrees all around. So it was just amazing. It was like being there and being able to look around me, not really being able to move everywhere, but at least to shift my view and to see what is around me. So at that point, I really wish to find a method to share this with people. But unfortunately, I'm not a great painter. I paint sometimes or I draw, but I'm not so good at it. So even if it crossed my mind to do it, I wouldn't have uh, I wouldn't have really be able to illustrate what I saw there. And then when I have connected with my home planet, which is Mintaka, from the belt of Orion, and with the community there as well, I could see how it looks like. And I could see how they do their ceremonies, and how all sorts of specific moments and interactions and so on from Mintaka. And the same thing happened with Atlantis. Whenever I bring my attention there and I channel something about Atlantis, or I ask for an information, I can see how it looks like, how people behave, how they related to one another, and so on. And then I had this wish that somehow I need to be able to show to other people as well what I can see. And I was very grateful and very glad to find out that there is quite a variety of AIs nowadays that can generate pictures upon a certain description that one gives. So I had to try it a lot. I had to try it a lot because they do not generate images they are not perfectly aligned with the description, let's call it like this. So I had to play with words and to change the description and try it again and once more and so on until they really did it right. So I got some pictures related to Taigeta, some pictures related to Atlantis and Mintaka as well. And I would happily share the screen so the others, the one who watch it now, can have the opportunity to actually see them.
Wonderful. I am ready.
So let's see with sorry. So this is from Atlantis. I would start I'm sorry, I would start with Taigita if it's possible.
Okay, and you know how to share?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
I think you need to share the screen. Uh,
Oh, okay, so I have to
oh,
start first.
yes. I think no, or let's see if I press share.
Oh, okay, there it is. So now we see your Telegram.
Mm-hmm. So I'm doing this and okay. So we can start with Taigita. And if you wonder what you see here, the prompt that I gave to the AI was to show me anti-gravity constructions, anti-gravity devices that hold the buildings. And this is what it generated. I felt that is very much, it's quite close to what I can see there. And let's say that this would be a city. It's important to mention that the ones from Taigita say that they do not ever affect their environment, which means that they don't have any negative impact upon it. Their main intention as a collective is to protect their environment. Therefore, they do not construct anything on it. So they have invented the anti gravity systems that can hold the construction, and this is how they construct everything. So you'll never actually on Taigita, you'll never see on the planets of Taigita, you'll never see a house that is built on the ground or something else, you know, that is really built on the ground, you know, that
Mm-hmm.
it affects it. Or if you see it, then it's somehow perfectly integrated with nature, and you will see some of the pictures here. It's perfectly integrated, that you have the feeling that it's just born out of nature.
Ah, and in this picture, what are those the blue things that look like TVs, little TVs? Are those the roofs?
No, there are, if you look, they look a bit, I would say, square,
Right.
and they are just houses, they are just construction.
Okay, but it's the top of the
They,
house, right?
they are buildings. Yeah, it's
Ah,
not a screen. It's I'm not sure what kind of material they would use.
okay. And then the little stars like look like stars or
There are connections of the structures. So mainly this is no, when the structure connects. More than that, I wouldn't be able to say what it would
okay.
be.
Okay. Okay.
You have
So,
to you have to imagine now that the AI, of course, has fill the gaps. Now I gave it a description and then it created the whole thing. It
mhm.
doesn't mean that it looks exactly like this. It means that it can give an image which is somehow similar with my vision there.
So what so how so is this similar with your vision because it connects all together with something or no? Do when you saw your vision did the houses connect with an actual line like that or no? Were they just floating?
Now, in this case, I just gave it the prompt of an anti-gravity platform, I think, or structure. And then I gave it some other prompts like nature and protecting the environment and so on, and it has created the image.
Okay. But I was trying to see the difference between the image and what you saw.
Well, I would say that maybe the buildings were the buildings that I saw were larger, and they would have windows all over, you know, like even built out of glass so they can see everything everywhere. Yeah, that would be the main difference.
And no, they didn't have like corners, right? It was more like circular
No, actually,
edges.
rarely you see this kind of buildings on the planets of Taigeta. They do not really build the way we build.
Right.
So, but as we go further with the images, you will see all sorts
Okay.
of different ways of constructing.
Okay.
So that's a funny one. If you wonder what it is, and I will have one more. It's a spaceship which is not used anymore, but they made it. They have created it somehow so they can live on it. They can still use it as a building, as a living
Mm,
place. And if you look, it's really interesting because look here how it touches the earth, but in I would say a very small areas, and
mm-hmm.
it's a very very large building.
Yeah.
And of course, it's very well integrated in in nature. Somehow, not even to feel that it's a construction. And if we go further, this is another way of building. This you cannot see upwards, but it goes like this for a while. And then if you look, you have some kind of living place, let's call it like this up there. So, and this is also a way of doing it without affecting the environment much.
Right.
That would be another one. That would be also a kind of construction that I usually see on the planets of Taigeta, but also on Mintaka, which is on the belt of Orion. You can see here that it's just, perfectly integrated in the whole environment, being full
Yes.
of flowers and plants and so on. So you don't really feel that you're inside. And from outside, it's just, it looks perfect.
Right. And I bet you can have that type of open space because they probably don't have created mosquitoes and created bugs that are going to, bother them.
Well, I don't think they will have anything that bothers them because they are in perfect harmony with all the beings there.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, there is really no fight in between them. They do not reject them in any way. Probably, they have a very good, let's call it collaboration, or they are very much in alignment with all the beings on their planet.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask this actually. I never asked them if they have insects.
I'm sure they do. I just can't imagine insects that make their lives, you know, that affect them in a way that they wouldn't like to be bit.
Well, what I've learned during this lifetime from the Pleiadians who I channel is that there is always an opportunity to connect with any spirit animal and to work with it for your own benefit and for the benefit of the planet. So even here where we live, we have all the opportunities to do so and to go over the fear of animals and to replace that with love and to start collaborating with their spirits. So I have the feeling that this is how they do it on this higher dimensional planets. Okay, so this was about Taigeta. This is what I have,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to close this and I go a bit further, and I will go from here to Atlantis, and most probably the ones who are watching now, they know about Atlantis. They know that it is supposed to have been the first civilization on Earth. And right from there, the survivors of Atlantis, they seem to have went further to contributing to the creation of the ancient Egypt. And these are the images that the AI could generate. Sorry, this would be from Mintaka. Let's see from Atlantis. Yeah. So this would be one of them. And here I've described a place that seemed to be surrounded by water. People seem to live very much in tune with the natural elements. They seem to be very much connected with Sirius and to receive guidance from Sirius. And they even seem to have the connection with the blue beings from Sirius A and B. And it seems that this is how they have come to Earth, and they started to create Atlantis. So that would be one of them. I think here I have described a certain spaceship that maybe has sunk in the same time with Atlantis. And it's quite interesting because sometimes I can see from the beginning of it and how the communities there were in the beginning, and they were very wise. They acquired a lot. They came to Earth with a lot of knowledge, and their behavior were very much in tune with the perception of being one. But as they, as they continued their lives, as the time passed, they kind of changed their approach, and they started to separate not only from source but also from the beings who guided them. And they started to create all sorts of technologies and so on that have affected them. And as I say this, I also received the information that this is one of the reasons why when we invent something new in our world, like a new technology, you'll see so many people being against it, because many of them carry those traumas from Atlantis related to the apparition of new technologies. And of course, it's not really that the fear is to be embraced and to take action out of it, but it's more to understand those people who who react with fear whenever something new comes up. And here, for example, I have described how I see the temples there. And sometimes there were, it was like a full structure which would have had 3 or 4 temples on it, like how you can see in the image here. And the entire structure would be connected with it. And sometimes there would have been people in each and every temple on the same structure, doing ceremonies together and bringing that vibration together. Nevertheless, is important to mention that they built in a way in which the structures resonate with a certain vibration. So they wouldn't have just built something out of their imagination without really being in tune with the specific vibration that they wish to bring. And they were very good at building temples and storing new frequencies in them. And for this to happen, they use sacred geometries, like as you see here, the geometry of the circle. They had sacred geometries on the floor, and sometimes the whole building would just follow that, so they can bring that specific frequency and imprint it in what they build.
So were you able to see inside these temples? Do you have any idea of what they look like inside?
Well, sometimes whenever I've channeled a priest or a priestess from Atlantis, from a specific period of time of Atlantis, and I'm not very sure about the period of time, was not always revealed to me, but I could see that sometimes it's more from the beginning of it, and then it goes closer to ancient Egypt, for example. I could see inside, yes, and some of the temples would be what I would say, that each chamber would have its own vibration, having a specific intention. For example, what one chamber would be to develop or to support the fertility of women. Another one would be to establish a deeper connection with Sirius, or with the blue beings from Sirius A, B, and C. Another one would be to heal a certain part of the body, or maybe to acquire information about something specific that they would be interested in. So each chamber will not be just built randomly, but will have a certain intention and a certain vibration that would be imprinted there for people to actually be able, through that vibration, to access the story, to access the information.
Okay. And did you get a feeling of if they were made of crystal or concrete, or like did you get a feel of like the feeling of the actual construction? If it was made of crystal or
Well, it depends a lot of the intention behind it. If the intention was to heal a part of the body, let's say so, then they would use specific crystals for this to happen. Like the crystal that we know nowadays with the name of Andara, which I can even, if you see me now, I can even show it here, which is this one. So it depends a lot of how every chamber was programmed, with what intention. They have used crystals, yes, a lot. I could see sometimes.
But I'm talking about like the walls. What the
Really,
what the building was made out of. Did it, when you looked at it, did it look like crystal or
I have seen glass, not really buildings made out of crystals, but I saw places to sleep or to lay down, like, like what we would call nowadays a sort of bed made out of crystal, like the surface will be made out of crystal, and sometimes crystal in combination with gold. So this is what I saw. This doesn't mean that they didn't have any temples that were actually built entirely with different crystals, but this I have never seen. But yes, definitely to use them for healing. You would see this in certain temples. Of course, I could see as well some of the structures being very simple, without maybe having a clear intention, just to help one to detach from the mind and to sit in silence without any distraction there. And these rooms will be usually white. It will be painted in white, very simple, just for meditation, nothing else. So this you could also see. So I change a bit the image. Yeah, this would be also a model of a temple there. Now, please do not imagine that there were only temples. Yeah, this I found the most interesting to describe, but of course there were houses and so on. And I think the most interesting information here would be that what I saw was really amazing. And I saw like this, I saw them having having access to a very developed technology, almost like the way we use our technologies nowadays. Just that it will look in their communities, it will look like, even if they have access to them, they use them very little. Like you see their houses being very simple, not in the way of modest, but in the way of, almost like you'd see our houses in the Middle Age.
Oh, yeah.
This kind of everything being very clean, very nice, but very simple.
Yeah.
And then you would see that they have very powerful technologies behind, like all sorts of screens that they would have, and holographic projections and AIs and so on, but without really using them in the maybe day-to-day life. Like they would be there, they would support the whole thing, but they would not relate to them so much. Almost like they got over that.
Yeah.
And they wanted to simplify everything.
Yeah.
But it didn't mean that they didn't use their amazing technologies. It just means that they use them in a very different way that we do it nowadays. Imagine a world in which you would be able to even have clear holographic projections, but you would kind of hide the technology beyond it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and you'll have the whole game there, you'll have the whole enjoyment, but you'll not really relate to it so much. So this is how they live. They give me the feeling that they live a very in a very simple way. They're being very wise and having access to any information that they wish to. And most probably this is how they have affected their communities, and they got to destroy themselves. At least this is the story, you know, that they had access to some improved technologies that they didn't use wisely and not in agreement with what the guidance said, and then Atlantis collapsed.
Yeah. So is this picture underwater? This temple is underwater?
This picture is underwater, and I guess it's because the AI tried to suggest me how it will look nowadays if we would find it.
Ah.
So I guess this might be one of the reasons, or it might be that actually some of the temples were under the water. On Mintaka, for example, we would see that there were many, or most of the temples are under the water. So in this case, it's one of these two possibilities.
Okay.
So here I try to describe a priestess, and this is the image that I got. I'm not sure if it's very accurate, but I would say that from what I saw, the beings were very tall, not very in an exaggerated way, but they were tall and they were strong. And they wear as well very simple clothes usually. And when they had the ceremonies, then the priest and the priestess will choose special clothing with that occasion. But normally you wouldn't see people in Atlantis, at least in the beginning of it, walking on the streets, being very wearing very fancy clothes. I would say that they were quite simple, using natural material, natural textile, and yeah. They had a very different approach than we have nowadays. So I told you that they consider themselves to be one, and so much closer to the fifth dimensional perspective. And because they did not perceive so much separation, they related to one another in a very different way. For example, I remember that people asked me if they used to, the ones from Atlantis used to get married or to have children or so on. And I said, well, I know that this was an option for them, but they had the feeling that everyone is married with everyone. So they would, and from this, they would behave completely different than we relate to one another and behave nowadays.
So was it more of a brother-sister relationship with everybody, with all strangers, like a brother-sister relationship?
Well, when we say brothers and sisters, we think about relatives. I would say that just they had the perception that everyone is together with everyone, that they are a reflection of one another, that they are mirroring each other. I think this would be the best way to describe it. So they had no jealousy in their world, and
if you wanted to get with someone, you get with someone. It doesn't, right? There's nobody tied to someone else In other words, there's
Well, if they wanted to, they could create, they could have their own family and have children and so on. But it was a free choice. It was like they would consider it to be their own game and to create it as they wish to, without anything being wrong or right.
right.
And for example, as I moved through Atlantis and reached those periods that were probably closer to the ancient Egypt, I could see that, for example, a woman who would have wanted to get married, she would have been guided to spend at least one night with a stranger before doing so. And the intention beyond that was for her to understand and to be able to express her love for any being in any situation. So you see it now that it's a quite different perspective that at least some of our culture or nations on earth still have it. So yeah, that would be that's just a tiny example, but
Okay.
they had a different perspective as well. When they had children, the elders were the one to take care of the children, which doesn't mean that the parents were not there or they would not give attention or affection to their children. It just means that the ones who were really responsible with the education of the children were the elders. So they were not the parents, they were the ones who had the knowledge, the ones who were wise, and the whole responsibility would come to them. And the parents and the community and so on, they would play with the kids and they would have fun with them and so on. But the responsibility of education would be in the hands of the elders. And the elders was a chosen group of those who received the wisdom, who received the teachings.
Okay.
So that's also a quite different perspective, I would say.
Right.
And of course, they had all sorts of rituals, all sorts of ceremonies with different intentions, in which I would say they connected with one another in a different way that we do it nowadays. And they knew exactly how to bring their intentions together and to manifest them. And they knew, for example, that to manifest an intention, they need to reach a certain vibration. So they would use their temples and the sacred geometries and the way in which they imprinted those vibrations in the temple to manifest something that they wish to manifest. And they would know as well that when they wish to manifest something different, which is related maybe to another topic, they would use another vibration to do so. And in this way, they had a lot of knowledge in relation to how they shift to different frequencies so they can manifest.
Wow.
Which was really interesting to be able to observe this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a funny one. I didn't describe the palm tree there, but the AI placed it. placed it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So that would be as well some of their buildings or
It looks
structures.
a lot like Atlantis in the Bahamas. I don't know if you've ever seen the Atlantis building in the Bahamas, but it looks exactly like that.
That's good to know. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, maybe what I saw more in Atlantis, and I gave this description to the AI, would be the that they seem to create these small parts of land or islands or so on, which were not really natural, were more, let's call them artificial, and they would build on that land as well. So that's quite impressive, because then you will see, like buildings or different structures in the middle of the ocean, and that's a really nice thing. And sometimes, because they knew about the relationship with the water element and how important it is for them to be able to remain connected with the water within themselves as well, and to manifest through the water element, then sometimes they would have had a temple just in the middle of nowhere in water. So I'm not sure how they were building such such things in the middle of the ocean or in the in the middle of the sea. But sometimes you would just see a temple and it will be perfectly surrounded by water. So that I found very, very interesting. I also have to tell you that I'm not sure that they use the name temple for these sacred places. I use this name now because it's nothing else that comes into my mind, so I can actually describe this. But my feeling is that they had another term. It's something. It's a vibrational word there that they used, and it was not temple. Just
Okay.
like sacred structure, sacred. I don't know exactly what they use, but it's good to note now that I'm using this term just because I don't have a better one.
Okay.
Because when I say temple, maybe people associate it with religion or so on, and for them, I would say they were far away from religion.
Oh yeah.
Even when they were very connected with Sirius, they brought the knowledge of Sirius and probably from other multidimensional planes of existence, but they would not refer to that in a religious way. They would have a very physical contact with them. And even their approach would be much more scientific than just spiritual. And even when they create their rituals and so on, they would do it with having very clear intentions, knowing that the approach beyond the ritual is to create a certain vibrational state that allows them to create something further, to manifest something. So it wouldn't have been that they pray to all sorts of gods and so on without knowing why or how or what they do. They were very clear in their mind. And yeah, I would say they had a much more scientific approach than a spiritual one. Like they would integrate everything. They would see everything as a whole. So anyway, they wouldn't make any separation between what is spiritual, what is physical, and so on.
Yeah.
So that's another one. Well, this is from a temple that I saw. I'm not sure it's in what period of time. And I'm also not sure what it is there in the middle. This is what
you saw.
what I saw while channeling. I think I've channeled the priest from Atlantis at one point, and this is what I saw. It might be a crystal
That's what I feel.
pointed to the sky.
Yeah.
And if you see, this one is quite similar. So I had the feeling like when I saw it that it actually might be a quartz crystal or a selenite crystal. So that's interesting because you asked me earlier if I saw any structures completely made out of crystals. Now you can see that most probably it's not totally made out of crystal, but it has quite the center part built out of it.
And is this underwater, or the clouds look like water, kind of?
Yeah, definitely it is underwater. There are no
Okay.
clouds. There is water there.
Okay.
So once more, I don't know if the AI generated it like this because it assumed that Atlantis sunk. So this is how it looked like, or this is how it actually has been. My intuition tells me that they actually had some of the so-called temples. They were actually underwater.
Okay.
Oh, I have to tell you as well that there are many structures having this shape. How
Dome.
do you call it?
Dome.
The dome shape. Yes, many of them, they would have the dome shape.
Interesting.
Anyway, rarely you would see constructions similar with the ones that we have nowadays on Earth.
Well,
I would
the
say that
Florence, when you're going to Florence, the basilica there has a dome.
Yes, yes, I know it very well. Yes, I recognize the dome from my dream.
Yeah.
So yeah, and most of the cathedrals on Earth and so on, they have this. So
Hmm.
it's a sacred geometry that facilitates one to connect with higher frequencies.
Yeah,
And it's
it's kind of like a pyramid. Think about it. It's the same. It's bringing a lot into a little on the top, right? It's the same thing.
and they were the main difference is that they were built intentionally. So whenever they use such shapes or sacred geometries, they always gave them an intention. So it's not like the way we build nowadays, in which, just make the square thing or so on,
Right.
but it doesn't really have any intention there. So it doesn't facilitate um, for one to be able to connect with a certain vibration or to enter a certain vibrational state. So that would be the main difference. But of course, in our case as well, in the case of so many old or ancient structures, we can also see this. So as I said, there are many domes, there are many cathedrals all over the
Yeah.
world. There are the pyramids and so on. So we can still see that the way they used to build these places and to imprint the energies there.
So wait, Octavia, go back. What are those lines in the back? Do you have an idea?
Well, I have to say that this is what the program generated, so I don't know if there are not other crystals. It might be. They
Okay.
look
Yeah, I just
like
wasn't sure. Okay.
I didn't describe it. This is how it was generated. So that this is for sure. It refers to the sank of Atlantis and how it will look nowadays if we discover
Ah,
it.
okay.
And this as well, if you look at it, it's a bit, you can see the building being a bit affected. So it's quite the same thing.
With water inside of it. Hmm.
And if we look here, are those animals on I think this is what I see.
Yeah.
This is another thing that the program generated. I didn't give it a clear description. That's very interesting. Okay. So yeah, this would be related to Atlantis. I'm not sure going further. Did I show this before?
I don't think so.
I also don't think so. It's from Taigeta. Yeah, it's from
Mm.
Taigeta. It's also kind of space station, which is fixed, and it's used for people to live on it. And
Oh,
this is how it looks like.
wow.
And if you see here, it has a bit of a hexagonal shape.
Yeah.
Anyway, everything is very, it's round and yeah. Yeah, I think this is also from Atlantis. Yeah, I think this is all.
Okay.
This would be all. And of course, I would try further to to describe those programs, what I see, and who knows what they can generate in the future. Right now, I would say that they are not very advanced, but it's.
Did you show us Mintaka?
Oh no, I didn't show Mintaka. No,
Mm-mm.
let's show Mintaka as well. So I'm going a bit through them. This you didn't see. This is how the buildings that you asked me about would look like if you go closer to them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So are you sharing?
Yeah. I'm not sharing. I'm
Uh-uh.
sharing now. Sorry. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So this would be, yeah, because you asked me earlier how they look like or if they have screens there or so on.
Oh,
So this
yeah.
this is what you would see if you go closer. And if you remember that I told you that they are actually, when I saw them, they had glasses. Now you can even see here somehow that they, what you thought that there are screens, there actually there is glass, so they can see outside.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the main one.
Right.
Well, this is another one. This is also related to Taigita and how I saw different spaces to live. And this, I think, goes to Mintaka. And I have to share with you that Mintaka is a very playful plane of existence. It's really interesting because, firstly, there are usually water creatures, and they live half on earth and half in the water, or they can just choose where they wish to experience this, how they wish to experience it. And I would say that they are also very much connected with nature. They protect their environment a lot. What is quite interesting to see about them is that being so playful, they love to connect their places through all sorts of way of transportation. And they would do it in different ways, like using slides, for example, from one building to another, which I found it really, really funny. Imagine ourselves nowadays, just imagine yourself going to work and wanting to visit the office in the next building, and you just go on a slide.
Yeah, I love it.
This is one of those characteristics. This one, yes, this one is also from Taigeta, also from the planets of Taigeta.
Mm.
So this is another kind of structure that you can see. I'm not sure if it's a building or if it's a spaceship or it's a monument or whatever. This is what I saw there. So I found it quite interesting to be able to show it. This is a very nice one. It's from Mintaka, I think, or no, sorry. This is as well from Taigeta. You can see the whole solar panel structure on the top of it. This is how they actually construct sometimes, so they can really use the solar energy. And you can also see that it's very green. It's very cute. So yeah, I really love it.
Yeah, that's cute.
This one, not. This is from Mintaka. This would be from Mintaka, and as I said, sometimes because they have a very close relationship with water, they would actually construct their places to live very close to water if they don't actually live under the water. So in this case, you can see here this glass type of construction that would be made in this way. And this is as well from Mintaka. Another type of doing it, and most probably this is under the water. And I'm not sure why it combined it with other pictures. Yeah. So this time I'm going to have to share the ones that I placed on the Facebook page.
Okay.
And we can do so. With this occasion, I can also announce the one who are watching the video now, that you can find me on Pleiadian Transmissions of Light and Love, the Facebook page, and you can write me a message there, and I would happily reply to you as soon as possible. So, Going now
could
to,
go.
and of course,
Oh.
if you wish to,
Yeah, you should go on the left, Octavia, if you go to photos.
Oh, I just have it here. Yeah, I
Okay.
found it. So as well, it's useful for those who are watching now to know that if you wish to see the pictures again, you can easily find them on the Facebook page, Pleiadian Transmissions of Light and Love.
Yes.
So this would be from Mintaka.
You can do zoom up on the top too if you want to.
Yes.
There we go. Perfect.
So yeah, as I said, many times they would construct under the water.
Under the water.
This is not a temple. This is a place where they live. And this place is as well. This would be another type of building. I cannot say always what they were doing there. If if it was a living place, sometimes I know it, sometimes I don't know it.
What's this?
Well, this one would be as well a kind of construction under the water. I'm not sure how they would use it. This is a funny one. It's a kind of a connection in between two buildings, also with slides. This, I think, I have asked the program at one point to generate, to show me a bit how their spaceships look like, or what kind of methods of transportation they have. So I have the feeling that this would be a kind of submarine. I'm not sure, but this is how I saw it. This is how I described it, and this is what came out. This is another structure. This is more like a temple than a place to live. This is for those who, illustrating the ones who live on the ground. This is as well an underwater temple on Mintaka. And this is very nice because you can see them as well being very close to the water here. This is another type of temple under the water. So you can see here that they have a lot of variety. If in Atlantis they would have used quite the same materials for constructing an architecture, on Mintaka is very different. They are very playful. They use their creativity in all sorts of ways to build in a different way. Yeah, this is another one.
Interesting.
This one I love it. This is as well. This is a more of a spiritual place and a place to live.
It reminds me a lot of the Japanese, architecture.
Yeah, it looks a bit like that. So that's a funny one. Also, I described that they have slides and they can, go from one place to another in this way and connect them. So this is what the program generated. And this one, another model. I try to describe how I see the people there as well, but what the program generated was not really what I would, was not really accurate. Not to say that sometimes it generates all sorts of images, with broken eyes and faces. That's funny, but it's not relevant. So this is also underwater. I know that it looks a bit like a spaceship, but it's it's below the water surface. This is a temple, and it's surrounded by water. This I described one of the animals there, or the creatures, and this is what the program generated.
Mm.
This is also one of their submarines or their ways of transportation. Another one, a different one. I said that Mintakas are very playful. They have a very beautiful imagination, and it's really inspiring to see how they live and how they live in their world.
That
This is
looks neat. That's awesome. Reminds me of Switzerland almost.
yeah. I think someone else told me this. Well, I hope somehow that these pictures inspire some of us to, who knows, maybe at least to be a bit more playful with what we create and how we construct, how we protect our environment. I have the feeling that this is what the Taigitans would really wish to bring to us, to inspire us a bit on how to collaborate more with the environment and to protect it in a better way, and not to place our intentions before that which should be our main intention of protecting the environment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These are all places to live.
Wow.
I find it
Wow.
really funny because some of them I have to share with you that they look a bit like the Disney houses or Disney images.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is very it's approaching very much the way I saw it. It's not exactly the same, but at least it's a
Similar.
good approach there. Yeah.
Okay.
And this one is not flying. Yeah, it's on the anti-gravity structure there. That's why it seems to be above everything else. That's a magical way of constructing. Mostly
Mm-hmm.
because if you see it, it's above the whole forest, so it's
Right.
the view from there has to be amazing. And I would not be surprised if I would know that on the other side there is a slide that bring them down.
Yeah. Probably.
So yeah, this would be another like a kind of submarine.
Interesting looking fish.
And the fish, yeah. So yeah, this is all. No, this I didn't show you. I have the feeling when I saw this, they look a bit like spaceships.
Yeah.
When I saw them, I had the feeling that they actually live inside there. And they look quite amazing.
Yeah.
Another funny one, very playful, very well integrated in nature. Maybe the way I saw it was this is what I tried to describe, that it's really like they build their houses or their places to live, and probably not only those, somehow allowing some space for nature to be there, to make them green and to create a good to create enough space for their plants to grow and trees and
Mm-hmm.
so on. So
Yeah.
even you wouldn't say that they they just fit perfectly in the environment.
Yeah, that's the stuff that reminds me of Japan.
This is a kind of their temple and the way they build it, and I know that this is in relationship with the water element. Is for those who change the vibration of the water. And if I told the story of Atlantis and how they build the temples there with a certain vibration, well, here on Mintaka they will build these spiritual places always very close to water, and they would imprint a certain vibration, but not in the structure of the place, but in the water itself. determining it to provide some healing properties upon those stored frequencies. And as well, the same things, they would aim to the same things, like healing themselves or changing their timelines, accessing different information, by connecting with the water element. But they would work mostly with water.
Mm-hmm.
This is another funny one with the
What is
little.
that in the front?
This is also a kind of a slide, or tube
Oh,
that you can just, go from up down.
oh, okay. Interesting. What is
Yeah,
this?
this is also a description of some of the buildings or structures that I saw there. It might be that here in the middle is more of a certain sacred place, and they use the water around and they activate it with a certain vibration.
Mm-hmm.
This is more of their spaceship. So I think I
Mm.
have a few ones with their spaceships as well. I love to look into their world because they are so inspiring. They always create in a different way. They have so many, yeah, so much creativity, so much playfulness.
Yeah.
Comparing to our world where you see things being created quite in the same way because of the so you can maintain the economy in a certain way as well. Well, in their case, they don't have this issue, so they will just create as they wish to and play with them as they wish to. So yeah, I think I went back. This would be
Uh-huh.
what I have from
Yeah. Mintaka.
Mintaka. So I hope at least that I brought something new to you today, to the ones who are watching the video now. And if you have any questions, please write to me to Pleiadian Transmissions of Light and Love as well. I want to announce you all that we have a group of light workers, and if you wish to join our group, you can do so on Telegram. And this is the place where we receive new missions. Sometimes we activate new energy vortexes. Sometimes we activate the ley lines and we reconnect them so we can uplift the main planetary vibration. And sometimes recently we have been taught how to open new portals on the planet. So if you wish to join our missions, and of course, if you feel guided in your heart, you feel that this information really resonates with you, please do so. Please reach us on the Pleiadian Transmissions of Light and Love, and then I can share the more private group link for the group on Telegram. And I would be very happy to welcome new members there. So yeah, that would be.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Octavia. And I just want to tell people, this is something that if you resonate with, enjoy it, love it, forward it. If you don't resonate with it, that's okay too. As you know, everybody has a different reality. So every reality is correct. So, um, you know, uh, I hope that this has uh, brought to you, good energy and interesting information. So, Octavia, thank you so much. And I really look forward to seeing how this develops and how where we go from here. It's getting very exciting.
Thank you very much as well. And I really hope that the images that we share today inspire you as well. And as you said, Elisa, if they are not inspiring for you, then just leave them behind and don't bother yourself and your time with them. but if you want to find something positive in them and to share the information further, then please do so, because I know that there are many of you out there who have had a similar experience. Some of you would remember about your home places. Some of you would reactivate those inner memories from other lifetimes watching the images. And if so, please spread the news further, because it might be, even if it's not for if it doesn't benefit you at the moment, it might benefit other
Someone
people.
else.
So thank you very much. It was really lovely to have this opportunity to share with you my my vision and the information that I received. And I'm also very grateful for the programs that were created, and the software developers who created them. They give us such a nice opportunity to be able to illustrate these words.
Yes, absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, for sharing, for liking the video. And I love you guys.
Thank you. Goodbye.